For years, late-night television was supposed to be where America went to laugh. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Many of the biggest hosts became known for feeling scripted, performative, or disconnected from the audiences they once entertained. Viewers stopped seeing real people behind the desk and started seeing carefully managed personalities. Yet somehow, two names escaped that fate. Conan O'Brien, Craig Ferguson. Despite spending decades in the same industry, both men remain widely respected. Fans still revisit their interviews, share their funniest moments online, and describe them as two of the last genuinely authentic late-night hosts. So what made them different? Why did audiences continue to trust them when so many others lost that connection? The answer isn't simply that they were funnier. It's that long before they became television icons, both men learned something far more valuable than how to tell a joke. They learned how to connect with people, and that would shape every stage of their careers. Long before television audiences knew his name, Conan O'Brien had already discovered something that would define his life. As a kid, he realized that humor could change the mood of a room. If people were upset, he could make them smile. If there was tension, he could break it with a joke. Making others laugh wasn't just something he enjoyed, it became second nature. That instinct followed him to Harvard University, where he joined the Harvard Lampoon, one of the country's most respected humor publications. At the same time, he immersed himself in theater, sharpening not only his writing, but also the physical comedy that would later become one of his trademarks. Rather than hide his awkward height and lanky appearance, Conan embraced them, turning his own quirks into comedy. After graduating, his talent earned him a writing job on The Simpsons during one of the most important periods in the show's history. Although he wrote only 3 episodes, his influence was memorable. His stories captured the show's trademark absurdity while also revealing something more human beneath the laughs. Episodes like New Kid on the Block balanced Homer's outrageous adventures with Bart Simpson's first experience of heartbreak, giving the characters an emotional depth that resonated with viewers. But what truly set Conan apart wasn't just his writing. It was the way people remembered working with him. Years later, when former Simpsons writers reunited, many of their favorite stories centered on Conan. They recalled how he constantly entertained the writer's room with bizarre impressions and ridiculous physical comedy, making even long workdays feel fun. His co-workers enjoyed his energy so much that they would often ask him to perform the same jokes over and over again. Even small jokes he invented found their way into the show, becoming part of The Simpsons' unique vocabulary. Former showrunner David Merkin later described Conan as his rock while rebuilding the writing staff for Season 5, a reflection of how much trust and respect he had earned from the people around him. That respect became so genuine that The Simpsons eventually included Conan himself as the host of a late-night show in one of its episodes before it was even certain he would actually receive that job in real life. For Conan, making people laugh had never been about drawing attention to himself. It was about making everyone around him enjoy the moment. When Late Night with Conan O'Brien premiered, Conan wasn't stepping into television alone. Back at The Simpsons the writing team gathered to celebrate the show's 100th episode. But they also paused the celebration to watch Conan's first night as a host. It was a simple gesture, yet it said everything about how deeply he was respected by the people who knew him best. Conan had always believed that laughter could make even difficult moments feel lighter. Craig Ferguson's journey was different. He grew up in a working-class family in Scotland, and financial hardship forced him to leave school at just 16 to help support his family. After working in a local factory, he found his way into music, performing as a drummer in several bands. But behind the performances, he was fighting a battle few people could see. Alcohol gradually became an escape from his darkest thoughts. One of the bands he played in was Dream Boys, which at one point featured future Doctor Who star Peter Capaldi. Capaldi encouraged Ferguson to try comedy, a decision that would change his life. To overcome his nerves on stage, Ferguson created a character called Bing Hitler a satirical take on overly patriotic Scottish folk performers. The character quickly became popular, proving he had a natural gift for comedy. Yet success on stage couldn't hide what was happening off it. By his late 20s, Ferguson's struggles with alcohol had pushed him to an incredibly dark place. His life was spiraling out of control. Everything changed after one night when, as he was leaving a bartender convinced him to stay for one last drink. The conversation interrupted the course his life had been taking, giving him the chance to step back and confront the reality of his addiction. From that point on, Ferguson committed himself to sobriety. The road wasn't easy, but it transformed him. His pain gave him something many entertainers never developed: genuine empathy. As his career grew, he appeared in television and films before landing the role of Nigel Wick on The Drew Carey Show from 1996 to 2003. He also built a reputation as a talented writer, contributing to projects such as Saving Grace and I'll Be There . Eventually, his path crossed with Conan O'Brien's. The chemistry between the two was immediate. Neither man was trying to dominate the conversation. Neither seemed interested in proving how clever he was. They simply enjoyed making each other laugh, and audiences could tell the difference. When Conan O'Brien and Craig Ferguson became late-night hosts, neither of them looked like the obvious choice. Conan was criticized almost immediately. Many viewers thought he was too awkward, too nerdy, and too inexperienced to replace a beloved host. Moving from the supportive environment of The Simpsons into the spotlight of network television was a dramatic change. Instead of trying to imitate the hosts who came before him, Conan leaned into everything that made him different. He embraced awkwardness. He filled the show with bizarre characters, unpredictable sketches, and absurd physical comedy. His monologues often wandered into unexpected directions, making them feel spontaneous instead of carefully rehearsed. Just as importantly, Conan never acted as though he was the most important person in the room. He often joked about himself, downplayed his own status, and focused on making his guests look good. Rather than chasing the biggest laugh for himself, he wanted everyone involved to have fun, and that made his conversations feel natural instead of performative. Craig Ferguson took an entirely different approach, but arrived at the same destination. Because The Late Late Show aired even later at night, the network gave him far more freedom than most hosts ever received. Ferguson embraced it completely. He later admitted that when he signed his contract, he wasn't even sure he'd survive more than a few days on the job. So he treated every episode like it might be his last. Instead of following the traditional late-night formula, he constantly experimented. Some nights opened with puppets, other nights became long, free-flowing conversations about life, death, or whatever happened to be on his mind. The show felt unpredictable because it genuinely was. He wasn't chasing viral moments or trying to fit into Hollywood's expectations. He simply wanted the show to feel real. That authenticity became his greatest strength. People who normally disliked talk shows suddenly found themselves watching one that didn't feel like a talk show at all. Craig Ferguson's greatest moments didn't come from his jokes. They came from the moments when he chose not to tell one. In 2007, as Britney Spears struggled through one of the most public crises of her life, much of the entertainment industry turned her pain into comedy. Many late-night hosts joined in, using her personal struggles as material. Ferguson refused, drawing from his own experience with addiction. He told his audience that he couldn't make fun of someone who was clearly suffering. Instead, he spoke with compassion, reflecting on how easily his own life could have ended very differently. It became one of the defining moments of his career, not because it was funny, but because it was honest. He showed that empathy could be more powerful than another punchline. A few years later, after the tragic Aurora Theatre shooting, Ferguson once again set aside the usual late-night routine. Rather than pretending nothing had happened, he re-recorded his opening monologue and spoke directly from the heart, acknowledging the weight of the moment before continuing with the show. That same honesty shaped his interviews. One of his signature routines was tearing up his cue cards before sitting down with a guest. It wasn't just a joke, it was a statement. He wanted real conversations instead of rehearsed promotions. The result was something audiences rarely saw on television. Guests relaxed. They laughed. Sometimes the conversations drifted far away from the movie or book they were there to promote, becoming genuine discussions instead of carefully planned publicity appearances. Many viewers now see those interviews as an early version of the long-form conversations that would later become common in podcasts. Whether he was speaking with actors, comedians, or Archbishop Desmond Tutu, an interview that earned the show a Peabody Award, Ferguson treated people like human beings first and celebrities second. Conan O'Brien built that same trust in his own way. He never needed to be the smartest person in the room. He was happy to become the joke if it meant everyone else could shine. His willingness to laugh at himself made guests feel comfortable enough to be themselves, and that's why both men stood apart. They weren't trying to manufacture authenticity, they lived it. Long before podcasts made unscripted conversations popular, Conan O'Brien and Craig Ferguson had already proven that audiences weren't looking for perfect hosts, they were looking for real people. And decades later, that's still the reason their work continues to resonate while so much of late-night television has faded into the background.